Hello, future self, Carla. This is Nick Yund with our Chapter 13 Reflection for Advanced American Nation. I don't actually have any notes for any real difficulties I had in 13 in Advanced. I did a lot of the basic course upgrades that I do for every chapter. Checking spelling, reformatting pages, cleaning them up, fixing broken links and pictures, updating the intro page and all the objective pages for all the lessons, going through and fixing those problems, those issues. I did start to adding the little like Mr. Yun movie corner at the bottom of a couple of them, little supplemental stuff, like kind of pop cultural reference stuff, like on a wiki page. It's like in pop culture and there's some things on the bottom. I'll do that, like there's a couple of movies about the Alamo and stuff like that. With Manifest Destiny, lesson 1's a fun lesson where we talk about, it's all about like the Oregon Territory and mountain men, and then the Oregon Trail. So the virtual lesson is really fun when we learn about. I have an Oregon virtual lesson. We talk about the mountain men and all that, but the content for that virtual lesson takes about 30 minutes, which gives us some more time. And usually we'll play we play the Oregon Trail game, like the really old one. I found an emulator link that works for most students, and it's super easy to learn to play. And we as a class will play Oregon Trail. I'll give out the link. We'll make the little parties. You get 5 people on your wagon. And most of the time we name them after whoever's in class that day. So it'll be like, Mr. Yund and Susie and Billy. And then, like Susie breaks her leg or gets bit by a snake, and we lose all our stuff fording a river, and it's fun. We have a good time. We joke about it. Sometimes Mr. Yund dies of cholera. They always get a kick out of that if their teacher dies on Oregon Trail. It's a really fun virtual lesson. It's a good, changing it up from Kahoot every once in a while. So it's a fun chapter. I like teaching it. It's chapter 2, or lesson 2, that's right, Florida and Texas. We get to talk about the Alamo. That's a fun lesson. And then we get into 3, which is War with Mexico. Yep, Mexican War. That's our second virtual lesson. This chapter covered two weeks, and therefore 2 virtual lessons. So I have a lesson on the Mexican War, which is kind of a review of the previous lesson, which is Texas and Florida, but we just cover Texas. We cover a whole lot of Texas when you cover the Mexican War, because then you got to talk about how Texas became a state, which conveniently for us is just a former lesson. But it's a fun chapter. I like it. There's a lot going on, a lot to learn. Let's take a look at that test, shall we? Check that speed grader. Average test score 94. Good. And there's a good essay on this one. It's opinion, but they need to know what they're talking about in order to formulate their opinion. The question is really an opinion about whether or not they thought the move by President Polk that started the Mexican War was necessary or a jerk move. I gotta say, probably 3/4 of the kids said it was a jerk move. He kind of tricked Mexico into attacking first, but you know all about that, future Nick. So yeah, it was interesting. Most of the kids thought it was a jerk move. It kind of was, so I guess I'm not that surprised they said that. But that's 13. It went well. It's a fun lesson, and that's all for now. See yas.